In the shadow of a dense forest, not far from the town, stands the long-abandoned Bright family estate. Its gloomy facade, with boarded-up windows and weathered walls, hinted at its desolation. Beckoning me since childhood, memories flooded back as I gazed upon the eerie mansion once more. It hadn't always been this way. When I was a naive young boy, I often ventured to the only ancient house in the vicinity. The Bright family, consisting of old William and his sickly sister, Sarah, still resided there. While William seemed like an ordinary elderly gentleman, Sarah instilled true fear in our young, impressionable minds. Afflicted by an unknown illness, her face and body were twisted, resembling a broken doll. She spent most of her time inside the estate, rarely venturing outside. Shamefully, we, foolish as we were, would often hide near the edge of the forest, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. Among the children of our small town, countless rumors circulated about the Bright family, especially Sarah, whether it was the ignorance of that time or our lack of upbringing. We would conjure up terrifying stories about the ill-fated estate, and to prove our bravery, we would sneak onto its premises, just like we did on that fateful day early in the morning, my lifelong friend Simon and I always finding ourselves in trouble. Set out for the Bright estate once again. Walking along the narrow path that skirted the edge of the forest, we eagerly anticipated what horrors we could uncover from the eerie mansion, perhaps even from Sarah herself. I daydreamed about how I would boast to the other kids, proudly displaying my find, be it a trinket, an old spoon, or a broken comb. As we neared the place, Simon abruptly pulled me into the bushes, covering my mouth. Old William, moving slowly, headed towards the town, apparently off on some errand, unable to contain our excitement, as our task had suddenly become much easier. We anxiously awaited his figure disappearing into the trees. Emerging from our hiding spot, we hastened toward the fence. The rusty gate let out a grating sound but revealed no signs of our presence. Sarah, however, did not make an appearance. Carefully sneaking inside the house, I couldn't help but notice the grotesque paintings adorning the walls of the long corridor, portraits of seemingly ordinary people with eerie, contorted expressions lined the hallway. Treading softly, desperately trying to remain unnoticed, we made our way to the second floor. To our astonishment, in the very first doorway, we saw the chilling silhouette of Sarah. She sat facing the door, gently rocking in her chair. Her emaciated hands caressed the long-deceased bird she held. Spotting us, she jerked, revealing a malevolent grin, and lunged toward the door, screaming in terror, without knowing how. We found ourselves back on the ground floor. Without hesitation, we bolted outside, desperate to escape, but a sudden crash behind us made us momentarily turn around. Sarah's twisted body lay motionless on the steps, her gaze forever fixed in our direction. Now, standing near that same door, I felt immense guilt and remorse for poor Sarah. Our foolishness may have sealed her tragic fate. Collecting my thoughts, I crossed the threshold of the long-abandoned estate. The long corridor, stripped of its eerie paintings, beckoned me upward. Taking just a few steps, I noticed a pile of mangled carcasses littering the decaying floor, small birds and rodents, twisted like Sarah's broken form, lay scattered around. Momentarily frightened, I dismissed my irrational